Good afternoon. Goeiemiddag, Sanbonani, Lochani, Molweni, Nda, Namaste, Namaskar, Shalom, Salam Alaikum. Hoop sis. Ja, ek het nou die koi woord ook geleer. Goeiemiddag julle. Groete in Jesus naam. Shalom. Shalom my friends. I just realized that this is a very spiritual month, yes, it's a holy month for the Christians, the Muslims, as well as the Jews. I never realized that, but I am not going to talk about that today. Welcome, everybody. We have a very, very serious problem, and that is why we are doing this. This is an urgent live that we are doing, and I'm not going to do it on my own because I have someone who's going to join me because she's the one that actually sy's 'n joernalis. So julle joernaliste ken hulle krap. They are the ones that are scratching and they find out what is going on. I saw this report about the state of the hospitals in Gauteng specifically, and the fact that there's such a backlog in South Africa. So if you've got an urgent operation that needs to happen, it is not going to happen. There is a waiting list from here till Timbuktu. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. My name is Fatima Abdul, and this is the page of the United Independent Movement. We are a political party. We are non-racial, non-religious, non-sexist, non-everything, but we are all inclusive of everything that is good and beautiful. So I went online and I started researching, because SG contacted me this morning and said, this is very urgent. Dis 'n gemors. Daar's 2 van ons lede van die UIM wat in die hospitaal vassit met gebreekte bene en dit word nie aangespreek nie want die waglys is eenvoudig net te lank. Toe vra ek nou myself, what is the budget that is allocated to the Department of Health? And then I came to the most ridiculous figures, let me tell you. The budget for the Department of Health is, let me tell you, 758.7, not million, billion rands, right? 758.7, no, sorry. That was the wrong amount, sorry. I need to get the correct amount. Yeah. I've got so many things that I downloaded that ek raak nou lekker de mekaar hierso. So there's 700 and okay, they say an estimated 86.7%, 166.6 billion rand of the department's budget over the MTEF period will be transferred to provinces through conditional grants, right? This is not the normal budget. This includes additional allocations amounting to 758 million rand in 2022 and 2023 to fund conditions of service improvements to employees who are funded by these grants, right? Dis nou die grants, maar daar is 700 en iets biljoen rand wat aan al ons hospitale gestuur word. Then I wanted to find out how many hospitals are there in South Africa. I don't know if that is correct, but I researched it over and over again just to make sure. Ek wou net 100% seker maak dit is die regte getalle. Maar volgens hierdie Google, there are more than 400 public hospitals. Dis min mense. Dis meer as 400. Kom ons sê daar's 500 publieke hospitale. 500, I'm escalating the number or I'm increasing the number because I would like to think that there is so many hospitals. But according to this, there's 400 public hospitals. And then there's 200 private hospitals. Okay. Let's see, are you on now? Can you see me? I've accepted your invitation or your application. So you should be getting my notification, right? And then there's 200 private hospitals. Then I found out that we are about, 60 million people in South Africa. Of the 60 million people, 44 million people cannot afford private hospitals. So they need to go to public hospitals. So only 9.5 million people in South Africa can actually afford to go on medical aid and get private hospital care. Right? Then I wanted to find out how many doctors are there. Hoeveel dokters het ons? Okay, laat ek net gou soontoe gaan en uitvind vir julle. Daar is 80 in South Africa. There are more than 80,000 registered doctors. Okay, more than 80,000. Okay, more than 80,000 registered doctors. Okay, dit klink na baie, maar dit is nie baie nie. Dis min. Remember, we've got 44 million people that needs medical care from our public hospital. Hallo Virginia.
Hallo Fatima, hoe gaan het?
Yes, self.
Ek nou nie aan te kom.
Toe maar, ons is daar. Kyk hoe oulik lyk ons black and white. Kyk hierso. Ek probeer nou om vir myself baie oulik te hou hierso, want ek het statistieke gaan oplees vir myself, maar jy gaan nou met die vleis kom wat om die been gaan kom. So ek wil net ons mense laat bietjie dink oor dit wat ek noem rondom die departement van gesondheid se situasie. Hoeveel is hulle budget per jaar? Dit is baie biljoene rande. Ons het 600 hospitale waarvan 400 publieke hospitale is. Die getalle maak my nervous want dit is te min. Ons is 60 miljoen mense. Uit die 60 miljoen mense is daar 44 miljoen wat public healthcare nodig het. Dan het ons 80,000 geregistreerde dokters, maar elke jaar sê hulle daar is omtrent 1000 wat uit Suid-Afrika uitgaan. Dan het ons, ek het sulke goedjies gaan oplees. Dan sê hulle per dokter, die dokters wat hier is, wat nou in ons private hospitale is, per dokter is daar 1000 pasiënte wat hulle moet sien. Okay? Dit klink soos 'n thriller. Ek wil dan maar liewer net 'n actress bly. Almost 1,000 healthcare professionals have immigrated between 2015 and 21. Okay? So die situasie klink benard. Okay, public hospitals have a shortage. Daar is 'n tekort van 10,000 verpleegsters en 1,300 dokters. Dit was nou gerekord in Oktober 2022. Maar wat maak dat ek en jy nou live is die feit dat daar is 'n backlog in terme van noodoperasies. Met ander woorde, nie vrouens wat hulle oë moet laat sien nie of een van die operasies nie. En kyk, een noodoperasie wat hulle nou glad nie kan uitstel nie, is wanneer 'n vrou moet kraam en sy moet 'n baba kry en sy moet 'n keisersnee kry. Lyk met die is die enigste operasie wat hulle moet doen. Die res is goed wat mense moet maar wag met gebreekte bene. Vertel ons van gee jy vir ons give us the lowdown. What is really going on?
Okay, ek gaan praat ons Afrikaans of praat ons Engels? Ons mix.
Ek en jy is albei. Virginia and I are both very, very much Afrikaans speaking, but we'll swing it. We'll do 60% English, 40% Afrikaans. So jy kan Swinglish praat.
English. Ja, die situasie is maar is donker. As jy in 'n Gauteng hospitaal is, en ek gaan nou spesifiek verwys na Gauteng hospitale, want ek sit met statistieke, dan is dit donker vir jou, en daar's verskillende faktore wat 'n rol speel in dit. For instance, before I get to the factors of why we are in this predicament, I'd just like to share the stats with you.
Okay.
We have about a total of 36,267 operations in waiting, which means these are people on waiting list throughout Gauteng hospitals, and it's for various operations. If it's not life-threatening, they put you on that waiting list. I mean, I had a case late last year of a guy who had to have a double knee replacement, and they put him on a waiting list for 2026. He couldn't walk, so they said, sorry, you're going to be on a waiting list for maybe in 2026 we will operate on you. And then sometime during last year, I called him and said, oh, you're still alive. So they actually hope people will just die before they even get to have their operations. Now, besides the operations here, and I'm going to break it down for you in the different public hospitals in Gauteng. Before we get there, we also have a backlog in cancer treatment. Now, cancer cannot wait to be treated because every day is a surviving battle. And women in this country are dying of cervical cancer. That can be treated. You shouldn't have to die of that. No woman. Because they say go to the clinic, have your pap smear regularly, and so that they can detect it early. And they do that. Women do, they take better care of themselves these days. But when they are being diagnosed with something that they can just fix, the waiting starts at the hospital. This is besides the operation. So now you go to stage 3 of cancer, and then you require an operation, stage 3, stage 4, even in stage 2 in some cases. And then you're on this waiting list. So can you see that our public healthcare system is deliberately killing our people? This is a total genocide that is happening here. So now I'm going to just break it down on our hospitals.
Okay.
The hospital with the biggest backlog is George Mukhari Hospital. They are out north of Pretoria.
Okay.
They have about they almost have 6,000 patients on the waiting list. Then you get Charlotte Makeke Hospital. They have 3,132 patients on the waiting list. Sebokeng Hospital, 2,977 patients. Biko, 1,921 patients. Telemugorena Hospital, 1,070. Tembisa Hospital, 1,023. Polosong, 832 patients waiting for operations. Tambo Memorial Hospital, 804 patients. And there you can understand, between Tambo Memorial Hospital, there was this huge blast, a gas tanker late last year, Christmas Eve, and there was a lot of damage done to the hospital. But this list was prior to that. This is not new. Before that, they were already in those numbers. So they don't actually have an excuse. The excuse comes after the fact. Leratong Hospital is 703 patients, and then the Far East Rand Hospital is 708 patients. Kalafong is a hospital here, it's 584 patients. Now, some of these patients, they have to wait between 4 and 5 years. And that's for your new operations and for your hip replacements. Now, I tell you, when you, especially a hip, and you can ask and that just normally comes in play in much older people, in our senior citizens.
Yeah.
And it's deadly pain.
Yeah.
Fatima, it's a deadly pain. It literally kills people.
Yeah, and
And if you sit,
quality of life just drops. Hoe lewe daai mense?
if you're a certain age, they send you back home. They do not operate on a certain age group. And I want them to come and tell me it's not true, because we took a woman on a mattress because they wouldn't come out. They wouldn't send out an ambulance to fetch this patient.
Sure.
She was 80 years old. Nothing wrong with her. She broke her hip. We had to load her on a mattress in a bakkie and took her to hospital. 3 days later, they just sent her home and she died. I don't know why. I don't know what is happening. So if your mother is 80 something, we better pray. Unfortunately, this is the situation in this country.
What is the reason besides the I looked up?
They cite various reasons. From COVID-19 is one of the biggest reasons, because when the COVID pandemic broke out, they put everything on a backbone. On the one side, they were too busy stealing with these tenders and the PPEs. I mean, it was just pure, wasn't it? We're not allowed to swear. Ne? Okay, but it was, but new swear.
Plofwoorde. Het is niet plop nie. Dit is plofwoorde. Ja.
Dit was net was ons 'n candy store vir die politicians. En as ek sê politicians, dan praat ek ook van die ouens wat directors is en head of departments, because they all had a finger in, some of them, not all of them stole. And you see it now, because there's a lot of cases, a lot of them are actually being prosecuted. I must say that we've seen a lot of people's new whatever BMWs being forfeited, and there is actually progress when it comes to the criminal part of it. But it's not enough, because these guys were in a candy shop that they just took and they stole, and they blame everything, to the extent that if you went to Steve Biko Hospital at one point in time to collect stoma bags, I don't know how many people knows what a stoma bag is. A stoma bag is when you cannot pass naturally.
Yeah.
Then they give you a bag. Yeah. Ne? So that alone is such a devastating operation to have for anyone. It is completely, you know, it's not a nice thing to have. And it's not just uncomfortable, it's just it's unnatural. It's not supposed to be like that. And then you get to a public hospital and they tell you they do not have
the stoma bag.
Oh, bags is about 100 rand one. For 10 bags, you'll easily fork out over 1,000 rand. And then you tell someone who has no income and who maybe depends on a government grant that you do not have. It happened. It happened. And all those operations were also put on a backpack. And I could understand what COVID hospitals were flooded, people were sick, how people were dying. And they had, if your life wasn't threatened, if you are not dying and you need an operation, they made you wait.
Yeah.
But with that comes the delays in renovating operations, theaters. So where was it? Klomp theaters. Al die hospitale het theaters. And they dormant. They're just there. They're like an elephant just standing there. They cannot be used because either the aircon doesn't work. And listen, if the aircon doesn't work, please don't operate me in it, because what else is not working yet? It's a danger. So there's always a lot of things and this is so it's like an identity, part of the identity of our governing party is that they neglect maintenance.
Everything.
Because everything, and public hospital maintenance is one of the things that they just neglected. The linen is torn, it's almost non-existent. It's not pleasant to be in, you're sick and you have to lie in a bed like that. Some of the beds, they actually put boxes on it. But anyway, let me get to the factors for the delays in the operations.
Before
So
you
they have a problem.
Before you get there, dit is nou net vir my om te onthou. Ek is 54, ek vergeet gou. Nehal het 'n paar weke terug getooi. Onthou Nehal, die National Health what Union. En hulle het getooi want hulle wil meer geld hê. Dis daai einste mense wat die hospitaal moet skoonmaak en wat die goeders moet was en hulle het gebeklei, hulle soek meer geld. Ek wil net hê die mense moet dit onthou. Gaan maar aan, Virginia.
Ja. En so hulle het agtergelos om sekere baie belangrike gespesialiseerde machinery te koop vir die hospitale wat nodig is in sekere operasies of om onthou op 'n tyd het ons een wat noem hulle die ding vir die kankerpasiënte gehad in die hele Gauteng. Almal was die Vigo toe verwys. En dis waar die
hele Gauteng.
En die hele Gauteng het gebeur. Dit gebeur gereeld. En dan praat ons van hulle, soos ek gesê het, hulle het net eenvoudig nie die operasiesale gerenovate nie. They didn't do that. So it's such a risk to operate someone in something that is not completely working and operating at 100%. Then there's the mass exodus, like you said before, of our skilled personnel. Our doctors, our nurses, our anesthesists, I mean, you name them, they're leaving the country, number one, because they don't pay them enough. And let me tell you, man, with a lot of respect, I'm saying this, we have fabulous, hard-working, honorable staff working in health facilities. But the ones that leaves the country is equally hardworking and really putting out their lives. They're there not because of the money, they're there because to save people. And that's why the outside world, they grab them. They want them to come because they say South Africans and work hard. So the lazy ones, some lazy ones, we're stuck here. And that's the same. Another factor why our list is so long is because of the number of foreign nationals. Unfortunately, this is a fact. We have one of the best constitutions in this country. And this constitution protects everybody that is in South Africa. And we have so many foreign nationals, and by all means, every person, human being that is in need of health care should have it. I'm not saying, and we should never say, they mustn't have foreign nationals. But we have a lot of illegal foreigners with no papers. They should actually be deported. They should be deported. I mean, the other day they caught a bus full of them. A bus full. They just like driving there in the Northwest. Like they're cruising to wherever the destination is. How did they get over the border?
They pay the people that's standing at the borders. They just drive through in a truck. There's no regulation whatsoever at our borders. This is the one thing that I also wanted to mention, and that is the fact that a lot of these illegal foreign nationals are so abrasive. Hulle is so demanding. They asof hulle, ek dink desperation maak dat mense amper nie eens logies dink nie. What they do is, they've got a card, for instance, in Eastrus, then they've got a card in Eastland, then they've got a card in Waverley. So they collect, this is what the superintendent told me in one of the clinics. They collect medication from the one clinic, and then they go to the other clinic, then the other clinic, because they have to give that medication to their family members. They're sending it across the border.
And that is because of our messed up health system. They're still working with freaking files. They should be online by now, but so that they can detect these kind of irregularities. And they're not. They're still working with files, and you open file, anybody can go to any clinic. And it should be like that. But there should be, like you say, you cannot collect medicine from 3-4 different clinics.
Yeah.
Because you're stocking up for friends and family. That
Yes.
is wrong.
I want
Another thing.
I want to know from the viewers, just like and share, This is very important for our people to know. Virginia is going to share more information with us. You see, na hierdie gaan ons nie net stil sit en sê vir julle goodbye nie. We have to take action because you, the taxpayer, you are paying for all of this that's happening right now. Continue, Virginia.
Yeah. So one of the last delays in why there's such a long waiting list of operations is they don't appoint new staff. Die fok weet hoekom appoint hulle nie nuwe staff nie, because it is there. The vacancies are there. They should fill it. There's doctors in this country that doesn't have work.
Yeah, we've got unemployed.
Yeah, I'm telling you. We've got unemployed doctors, nurses, we have them, they want to work. I don't know why they're not filling these positions. They should just and these healthcare workers that violates people's human rights, that neglect patients, that like I said in the case of Johan van Zyl, when he's explaining to the sister, I'm actually having a heart attack. And she chased him back to his bed like he's a freaking 4-year-old child. Those people should be fired.
They must be sent to jail.
Place where people wants to work in the health industry, this country. And we don't see that happening. So there's vacant posts in every hospital from here right across the country. There is vacant posts. And I don't know why they're not following it. You know why? Because they play these freaking musical chairs. They fight for positions, they bring in a new. I was still talking to the former MEC of health in Gauteng to say, how are we going to address these problems? The next thing, she's gone. So all our progress is gone with her. So there's no continuance. I'm saying that this was in process. Let's continue with this. Everything, the complaints department failed. They fail people, they rude to people, and people equally, I must say. And we must never excuse ourselves because we have a role to play. If you treat people with respect, they will also treat you with respect. If people disrespect you, they violate you. Freaking in America, is it a standard operating thing? They film everything because they need evidence. Julle moet gewoon mense om as julle in 'n situasie is wat nie reg is nie, om julle fone uit te haal. Moenie bang wees nie. Niemand kan jou dreig nie. Niemand mag jou foon aanvat nie. Sorg dat jy op Google gelink is, al die delete ding, is in the cloud, but you need to find a way. And this is een van ons solutions actually. I'm jumping the gun here. That we need to speak about. Because South Africans are too passive. We
very passive.
Wait, ons is te fucking ordentlik. Hou op. Dit is hoekom ons so afgedoen word. Dis hoekom die land in sulke gat vervat. Hulle is te ordentlik om te gaan Woutok Fatima.
Hy weet jy.
To decent
iemand het nou die dag vir my gesê, nee, ek wag vir die party wat load shedding gaan stop. Toe sê ek, jou dom dwaas, jou swap. Dis 'n vriend van my, so kan ek vir hom sê. Hoe wag jy vir 'n party wat load shedding gaan stop as jy sê jy gaan nie vote nie? Dit gaan mos nie die lig uitval, jy moet vote. Jy moet jou stem dik maak en op daai punt wat jy gesê het dat mense moet hierdie goed rekord. I always say, always go with someone. Go with an eyewitness, especially when you go to any public sector. Gaan saam met iemand, die persoon is jou backup, is jou eyewitness en is ook die persoon wat skelmpies die video gaan opneem.
Ja, because ons moet op 'n manier mense forceer om die regte ding te doen. En hoe doen jy dit? You need to publish. Gee dit vir die media. Listen. People understand one thing. The media is your biggest fighting partner.
Yeah,
you throw it out there. And now we all journalists now in the country. You a journalist, everybody is, because we have Facebook, we have TikTok. You post your stuff. We cannot allow this to continue. For every person that just turns around after you've been violated or after you've been told in a worst way, basically to fuck off, you turn around and leave. You're not helping the next person. You can go, but we need your footage. We need your pictures.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we need
So,
to fix
call
the
to
country.
action. Is daar nog stats wat jy met ons wil deel? Mense, like, share asseblief, like, share. Die inligting moet uitgaan. Verskoon die plofwoorde. Die suster is baie passievol. Bring it.
Ek moet nou sê, daar was 'n groot jy weet vir die katarakke van die oë.
Ja.
So baie hospitale. Yeah, but they doing now marathons to get that list shorter.
Really?
So they're working. Yeah, now they can you see me, Fatima?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay. So hulle doen baie goeie werk om te kyk of hulle daai lyste ten minste kan korter maak.
Ja.
Operasies is nie so ingewikkeld soos 'n knieoperasie.
Ja, maar hier niggie sy's amper blind want sy's op hierdie katarak-lys vir seker hoeveel 3-4 jaar en hulle het gesê sy moet maar weer volgende jaar terugkom. So ek sal vas sê sy moet gaan daar waar die marathon is. En sy
sê waar is sy?
Sy's hier in Johannesburg.
Waar is sy?
In Elders.
Ja, jy sien die operasie. Ek sien hier is nog al.
Hoorie Virginia, een van ons moderators het nou 'n boodskap gestuur. Taal asseblief. Ja. Okay, Virginia. Volgende punt en dan moet ons dis iets wat ek wil noem. Ek noem wanneer jy klaar jou ding gedoen het.
Okay, soos wat ek nou gesê het, jy weet as die katarak operasies. Maar nou Fatima, ek dink ek het eintlik alles gesê. Ek weet nie of ek genoem het dat Baragwana het op hulle waiting list 10,900. Ek dink ek het dit gemis.
Ja.
En 1,777 van hy pasiënte sal omtrent 4 tot 5 jare moet wag vir knievervangings, want dit is wat dit is. So wat moet ons nou doen? Ons moet nou praat oor solutions. Hoe gaan ons die mense haastig maak? En hoe gaan ons hulle accountable hou? Nommer 1, hulle moet begin ten minste om aanstellings te maak. Because ons het die skills.
Ja. Maar hoe gaan ons Jan publiek hulle kry? Want ons is die mense, ek wil die volgende lees. Funding for public healthcare in South Africa currently comes from government spending through taxation and point of care spending for those using services. Met ander woorde, dit kom van ons af. Die taxpayer is die funders van hierdie hospitale, van die departement van gesondheid. So dit is die taxpayer, it is the taxpayer that has the say to say, but you can't put me on a waiting list for 5 years. I am a taxpayer. I paid, even if I paid 5, 6, 10 years ago, but I contributed to the finances of the Department of Health. So die publiek moet hierdie departement druk, soos wat ons nou dit reg gekry het, as gevolg van die publiekse druk, het Eskom daai reël verander dat hulle nie mag goeders, that they don't have to divulge certain things and so on. And there was a second thing that they also had to change. Well, the state of disaster was sommer onttrek and so on. It was public pressure. So we need public pressure to get the Department of Health to do exactly that what you were saying now. Om regte mense aan te stel. To just get the administration of our hospitals up and running normally.
I think we should start a petition. We should start a petition to say, listen, this is the stance of our hospitals. This is what is required. En alle steeds dat ek genoem het, kom met die mond van die MEC van Gauteng Health.
Yes.
So my is nie uitgedink iewers uit die lug uitgeval nie. Dit is hulle goedjies. We need to start a petition, and every person must sign that petition. Because if it's not you, maybe you have medical aid now, but your grandmother can't afford medical aid.
My mother doesn't.
And the problem is with us, we want to wake up, Fatima. We want to wake up when it's knock on your door, when it says, here's the crisis now, my mother or my grandmother needs an operation, or my cousin or whoever. And then you want to have this wake up call. We need to be proactive. That's why I say South Africans, we too passive. We need to be proactive. We need to start this thing and run with it, enforce them. And people mustn't say, ah, what net nog a petition, nothing's going to come over. Listen, if you do not try, if you don't even try and do something, bly sal, maak hom mond toe, staan een kant toe. Because we don't deal with negativity. It's much complaining about the situation. We need to find a solution.
Yeah, and we need to work towards the solution. And I think a petition is definitely one of the things that I spoke to SG about that. So we will see how we go about it, and we will start the petition and do it nationwide, because this didn't plan almal reg oor die land. Dan het nou 'n land geword wat hou van Hofman. Ek dink die departement, Dr. Pala, hy moet regtig, because sy fokus was op so verskriklik goed wat niks wat die Suid-Afrikaners glad nie baat nie. Dit was sy fokus geweest. En dit wat regtig belangrik is vir Suid-Afrikaners, dit het hy glad nie aan aandag geskenk nie. En hy moet soos wat daar druk gelê word op Bekkie Cele om sy werk te doen, sommer daar begin 'n druk geplaas word op Dr. Pala om sy verdomde werk te doen.
Jy weet, Fatima, die ouens is so, hulle is almal so buddies met die president. En jy kan dit sien in sy cabinet reshuffle wat hy gehad het, wat nie eintlik 'n reshuffle was. President was net besig om hom te omring met sy vriende, so to secure his second term. That is basically what it was. That is why he kept Bekkie Cele one of our most useless ministers ever. I mean, how he allowed people to die in hospitals with that strike. And I will say he allowed it because nowhere did I see the police really intervene. I did not see that. So these guys block entrances with their strike and prevent people. Some medical staff was dedicated. They slept in the hospitals because they were threatened and they were scared, and they wanted to serve the sick people in hospital. They slept in hospitals. He did nothing. He did nothing to protect those people. He allowed that strike to go on so long and such terrible implications. In spite of the fact that we are already sitting with such a lot of problems in our health cases. So he's so useless. And that Pala guy, they all listen to the president. We are doomed if our people do not make the correct choice next year when they vote in 2024. Then if you do not vote for a party that is not aligned to the ANC, and when I say aligned, go and look at who is their coalition parties. So if there is a party that you have voted for in the past that is affiliated, that is African sub-ANC, it's a division of the ANC. That's what we call them actually. If you voted for the C party or the X party, and you see now in local government, because local government election is a very, very, very important thing to watch. There you see where this lies. If your vote went to the ANC, as long as we have them in majority to make these decisions, whether your mother must have a knee operation or a hip operation, whether your mother must live or die, or you yourself, if you allow that, then you shouldn't complain.
Exactly.
then you should.
Exactly. Thank you, Virginia Kepler-Young, for your input. I just want to bring people into the picture. So Virginia, by profession, is actually a journalist, but not currently. She's taken a back seat where that is concerned, because unfortunately you can't be a journalist as well as in politics. But her heart's desire is really to see change in South Africa. And I'm so glad that she's part of the United Independent Movement. And also her passion, Virginia's hart klop, is it's for the vulnerable people. And that is mainly the senior citizens, because it's like they don't have a voice out there. And so Virginia has this organization which she started a few years ago called Rea Tusa. And that was the vehicle. As sy net gehoor het iets is nie reg nie, oom het nie 'n knieoperasie gekry nie, dan bel sy die MEC, jong, maak reël dat dan word dit gedoen. Maar ongelukkig, jy weet, daar's net soveel wat 'n mens kan doen as 'n individu of selfs as 'n klein organisasie. Maar die massas, and that is why we are doing it here on the UIM page. You sharing and clicking and loving and liking and so on is helping us to create awareness of what is going on. But we are also seeking and want to really implore you to come be part of the solution. And when we send out the petition to say that the following needs to be done, we will stipulate that. Send out the petition, neem deel aan die petisie. Daar is wat jy gesê het, ons is moeg vir mense wat sê, dit gaan nie help nie, jy maak so tyd, dit sal wel as ek iets gedoen. Jy kan eendag jou oë toemaak en sê, ten minste het ek iets gedoen, want iets moet gedoen.
Dit is so.
Okay, dankie.
Kan ek net iets by?
Yes.
Wat 'n knoppie druk ek?
Nee, jy het knoppie gedruk nie. Jy kan net sê Kobai, dan gaan ek. Dit is funny. Jy kan net sê bye en dan gaan ek 'n knoppie druk, dan is jy af van die skerm af. Bye. Ja, baie dankie. Tata. Nou, watter knoppie druk ek, te cute. Daar sê mense, so dit was die spesiale uitsending gewees rondom die situasie in ons hospitale en so aan. Jy as die belastingbetaler het die volste reg om jou stem te maak. En daai ongeskikte verpleegsters, daai ongeskikte, ek weet, kry nie altyd ongeskikte dokters nie, maar ongeskikte dokters. Enige persoon wat jou nie behandel soos wat jy behandel moet word as want jy is die werkgewer van al hierdie staatsentiteite. You are the employer of all these government departments. You're the one that has employed them. And they need to understand that. So that is the crux of where that is concerned. But the other stuff, in terms of the huge backlog that is there, it needs to be addressed. That really needs action from our side. So we will really appreciate it when we send out the petition and the letters and because as jy karring and oh, please do this for us. When you go to a hospital and you see the rubbish and the unprofessionalism, etc., take pictures, take video clips, send it to us. That will help us to build our case to say, this is what's happening. We are not making up stories. You must have a fantastic day. For those people who are making pickled fish, hulle moes lankal die pickled fish gemaak het, né? 2 dae terug. You must enjoy it. God bless you. Have a fantastic long weekend. Stay safe, stay good, and stay loved.